Hello there, my very good friends. On this wrestling news video, we've got the real reason for that Clash in Paris ending. Becky Lynch has commented on the Clash in Paris controversy. WWE have destroyed Roman Reigns. I'll tell you why they did that. And also, ESPN are not thrilled with Stephanie McMahon. I'm going to tell you why. I'm Andy. That's the eel. This is the news. And if you want to check out the morning video, we talked about fans not respecting boundaries, all the footage, all the clips of the screenshots you've maybe seen. You can check that out, published earlier today. But on this one, we're talking creative stuff and VPNs, apparently. Coming out of Clash in Paris, big time show at La Défense Arena in Paris. And yeah, a couple of major talking points coming out of the main event in particular. And look, there are massive spoilers all through this video. So hey, there you go. But one of them surrounds one of the most sought after WWE returns of the past decade, that being AJ Lee. Now, if you've seen this clip, there's a shot of CM Punk after the main event. He's going up to a sign in the front row on the ramp that says, CM Punk, bring back AJ Lee. He strokes his chin. It's very overt, the teasing he's doing. He's stroking his chin, he takes it, he has a look at it, and then he gives it back to the fan because he's not an ass. He's just handing it back to them. He's not doing anything else, not taking it away. There you go. So big tease there. AJ Lee has not been in WWE for since 2015 or something crazy. She was heavily rumored to be coming back into the company. I don't know if this was a real rumor or if we as fans just kind of headcanoned it. But there was talk of her coming back at the Royal Rumble. Her and Punk are obviously married, so since Punk's been back in the WWE fold since November 2023, the speculation has been really loud surrounding AJ. And Fightful Select have a big report on all of this. It sounds like there's more to this now than there ever has been, which is pretty encouraging if you're hoping for an AJ Lee return. So sources have indicated that AJ's name has been brought up creatively in pitches lately. And this is despite over the past 10 years, she's been largely uninterested in coming back to the ring. So for her name to be brought up now is pretty significant. There's more here as well. Upon the Becky Lynch thing that we'll talk about in a bit, Fightful started receiving messages from WWE sources. They were hopeful that pitches they've been hearing about would come true. They've also heard that some of the pitches weren't shot down like they used to be, or weren't quite shot down like they used to be. Maybe they've swapped a rifle for a water pistol or something, I don't know. Different degrees of being shot down, I guess. Now, Fightful cannot confirm that AJ Lee is definitely returning, but sources have indicated there is more traction than there has been in recent years. It should also be noted that recently Punk skipped around the ring just like AJ used to during the European tour. So there you go. Now AJ, not wrestled since March 2015. She's been out of the game for ages. When she worked on heels, she was apparently quite nervous to get back in the ring. But when she was filming that show, when she got involved, it was like she never left, according to Fightful. One higher up has told that if AJ was ready to return, they would have no concerns about her time being out of the ring for a number of reasons. One of them saying that she looks like she just left TV at all times, and also because she's married to someone who took a long time off from the ring as well. So yeah, interesting parallel there between the two of them. Fightful are continuing to monitor this and speak to sources, and if they get something more definitive than pitches, there'll be an update. If there's an update, we'll obviously talk about it right here on the channel, won't we, dude? Indeed. So, really interesting development, really interesting tease. I mean, CM Punk knew exactly what he was doing when he approached that sign. He didn't exactly make it subtle. He's like, what is this? What could this possibly mean right here? Would he do that if something wasn't in the works? Yes, he absolutely would. He is the stir that straws the drink a lot of the times. He knows how to generate conversation. And yeah, even if nothing was in the works, he would definitely do this because that's what he does. It's one of the reasons why I'm such an enjoyer of the works of CM Punk. He knows how to get people talking. That being said, the Fightful report is very encouraging, and if you want to put these two things together, you could probably come up with a much likelier scenario for an AJ Lee return than you could have, say, 2 or 3 years ago, or even for the Royal Rumble this year, which was heavily teased. Now, obviously, with this new Becky-Seth Rollins alliance, Punk is in need of an ally, if they're going to do that, right? He could call on numerous people, I suppose, but who better than AJ, his wife, who has been out of the game for so long, was a huge WWE fan favourite, and would be treated like a returning queen if she came back. I don't think there's there's anything bigger they could do in that scenario, really. So it'll be an interesting one to see how it plays out. We know AJ keeps in shape. Every now and then there's a photo of her just looking jacked, which is awesome. But she's been writing books, she's been chilling, she's been doing all kinds of things in her time away from the ring. She's somebody who sounds like she doesn't need wrestling, right, in her life to be happy, clearly. So, yeah, it'd be really cool to see her come. I mean, it would be super cool to see her come back if she wants to do it. It's not something she needs to do. So I wouldn't be surprised if she did come back if it was on a similar schedule to Punk's, where she's not like wrestling every week or whatever. Maybe just like 7 or 8, 10 times a year, something like that. Hey, maybe even just a one-off. That would be plenty. She had a really great run in WWE, and if that was it, if that was the end, she could look back on that with pride and go, hey, this was great, this was sensational. But if there's an opportunity to add more to that legacy, it would be really sick if she would take that. So, yeah, crazy stuff. Pretty awesome stuff if you're a fan of AJ Lee and you like surprises and big things. Speaking of big things, let's talk about Becky Lynch. Her and Seth Rollins are back together on screen. Another husband-wife duo, married with kids and all this stuff. They're back together on screen for the first time in about 5 years or so. And it happened in the Clash in Paris main event. Seth was defending the World Heavyweight Championship against CM Punk, LA Knight, and Jey Uso when a masked, hooded figure emerged. Not masked, just hooded. But Punk was going for a second GTS in the match. He was looking to wrap things up. This masked figure low-blowed him, and it was revealed to be Becky Lynch very, very quickly. This interference allowed Seth Rollins to recover and pin Punk, retaining the title. He hit a stomp in this gap as well. And in the closing angle, Lynch and Rollins were celebrating together, indicating that they are now back in some kind of on-screen partnership. Becky has tweeted about this. She's broken her silence, if you will. We run this business, she posted. #The Vision, insinuating that she is now part of the stable with Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed. So this is pretty interesting from a number of different levels, because the first time they were paired up, post-WrestleMania 35 in 2019, it didn't quite work out. Their on-screen chemistry wasn't quite right, which is always weird to me that some two people who clearly have immense off-screen chemistry, they're bloody married and they have a child, didn't quite translate into wrestling. Right? It was a bit awkward. It didn't quite feel totally natural. And it never quite took off in the way that WWE would have hoped, having them as this like babyface power couple when they were both world champion. However, that was when they were in babyface roles. And look, Becky Lynch, the man, tremendous run. Rollins never quite became the definitive top, undisputed #1 babyface in the company. He never quite fit that role. So maybe now that they're both heels, it'll work a little better. Maybe it'll mesh a little better 6 years later. I'm not going to sit here and go, this is definitely going to fail, because I think that would be unfair. And I think that if we're jumping to that conclusion, it would be a bit premature, even though there is reason from the past to be a little bit cautious about how this will go. But it adds another person to the Vision who are increasingly destructive, just kicking people's asses left, right, and center. And yeah, look, if you want to do CM Punk and AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins, that is now right there. Punk and Rollins have been feuding for ages. There was talk that the Rollins was pissed off when Punk returned and all that stuff. And the grounding of the feud has been Rollins getting one over on Punk over and over and over again, and just annoying him, just winding him up and not going away. He's like a gnat. He just won't go away. He's incessant. So he got another one over Punk at Clash in Paris. See if they equalize it in some kind of tag team match. Either way, it's a really interesting pairing. Plenty of reasons to look forward to it. But also, you know, look at the last one. It wasn't the best thing in the world. So hopefully this is a little bit better. And hopefully they feel like a bit more of a natural on-screen pairing than they did the last time around. If you weren't around in 2019, yeah, some of the skepticism is... it's understandable. Right, Roman Reigns. Let's talk about him. Speaking of the Vision, Reigns he beat Bronson Reed at Clash in Paris in the opener. Of course he did. Who was going to win that match? Afterwards, however, he was utterly destroyed by the Vision. So I mean, it was absolutely brutal. This Braun Breaker ran down, speared his ass, kicked his ass all over the place. Reed hit a tsunami. They beat the crap out of this guy, and it was a stretcher job the likes of we have not seen in a while for Roman Reigns, especially in this Tribal Chief OTC, whatever, head of the table persona. Yes, he has been beaten up and written off for weeks at a time by the Vision before, but this felt more impactful. This felt bigger, it felt more jarring and more shocking in a really good way. It was a proper old school heat angle. Look, it helps. The Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed are really good at this. The tsunami and the spears, two of the most impactful moves in WWE today, if not all of wrestling. So if you hit them over and over again on a guy who's just had a match and is tired and beaten up, yeah, it's going to be super impactful. Really strong angle to start the show off, and just a great bit of business across the board. And if you're wondering why that happened, it's Street Fighter reasons, baby. So PW Insider reporting that WWE wrote Reigns off at Clash in Paris because he now has to go and film for Street Fighter. He is scheduled to be filming through all of September at the moment, so it would be surprising if we saw him back before the fall properly kicks in like October and stuff like that too. So yeah, interesting. The thing with Reigns is that he's basically a part-timer at this point, in that he's not around a whole lot. He goes away for months and months and months on end. So this is not like anything out of the ordinary, and it's certainly nothing that the average WWE fan will be looking at and going, oh, no, what am I going to do without Roman? As good as he is and as big as he is as a star. It happens multiple times a year. So nothing out of the ordinary, but he is in Street Fighter along with Cody Rhodes and Hiroki Goto and a bunch of other people. Cody is playing Guile. I think Roman Reigns is playing Akuma. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments section below. But it's a very wrestling heavy movie across the board. And Reigns obviously has designs on expanding his acting career. He was in Hobbs and Shaw, where he did a Samoan drop in Samoa, which was fun. I don't think he opened his mouth in that film. So, yeah, interesting. He's done some other stuff since then as well. But he's going to be away for a little while, and presumably his feud with The Vision and Seth Rollins rumbles on. You could do that Rollins singles match is like always on the table, it seems. You could do Braun Breaker if you want with Reigns when he comes back. There's all kinds of interesting options for him. He's not running out of creative anytime soon, Roman Reigns. He's keeping things open. And yeah, the time away will probably keep things fresh and make you miss him and all of that good stuff. So, good stuff. Let's talk about Stephanie McMahon and ESPN now. So, yeah, this has been an interesting discussion. I've said interesting about 20 times in this video. Sorry about that, but it's an interesting thing to do. WWE PLEs, they've moved on to ESPN now in the United States. They are no longer going to be on Peacock as of Clash in Paris. For some people, that means an increase in price because the Peacock subscription, I think is what, again, Americans, please let me know, but $12 thereabouts. Whereas ESPN, for some people, depending on their cable provider, is going to be $29.99 a month. Some people get it for free. It all depends on your carrier, but a lot of cable providers do not give you that for free. So if you're a WWE fan, there is a decent chance that your cost to watch the shows is about to increase by a margin of like 200-300%, which is, you know, a lot of people will say $29.99, it's not too much, but yeah, to some people it is a lot. So you got to take different people into account when it comes to this thing. Some people have money to burn, some people do not. Times are tough, and you have to prioritize your spending. So this has caused a bit of a stir for sure. But a funny thing that happened last week was Stephanie McMahon basically telling her podcast audience to circumvent it by getting a VPN and watching it on Netflix, which is funny. Yeah, basically she did an ad read for her VPN provider where she said along the lines of, some people are still watching WWE the old school way. Well, let me tell you, if you can watch it on Netflix by logging into a VPN and just changing your location. It's going to be cheaper, it's going to be better, blah, 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 blah. This has unsurprisingly left one source that Fightful had heard of in ESPN not thrilled by the ad read, but they didn't think it was going to be a major issue going forward. Yeah, I mean, basically Stephanie's teaching you how to not pay $29.99 to watch the watch the show. She didn't go as far as saying, hey, there's a website with this dog and he's got classical music at the end. She didn't go that far, which is good. But she did kind of accidentally go, hey, get around the company's new deal by doing this. It was funny. Look, if you probably funnier to us as people who read ads than anyone else, but yeah, it's still pretty cool. So I wonder, I mean, when Stephanie was sitting here reading this, I can't imagine she cared. She was probably just like, what's a VPN? Yeah, I'll read this. I don't know what this is. Or maybe she is a VPN fiend. Maybe she is getting the best deal year over year. Maybe she is sitting there, picking away at things and going, Hunter, we need to renew our VPN subscription. What about this one? Blah 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 blah. Who knows? Maybe Stephanie's more plugged into online security than we're giving her credit for. I don't think this will lead to anything else other than it's a nice little way for us to draw a line under a story that we talked about last week and all of that good stuff. But yeah, cool. All right, that's enough news. That was crap. That's enough news for today, my friends. Simon will be here with Ups and Downs very soon. We'll also have a big Gunther video going out tonight, if you're into that kind of thing. Big editorial style piece exploring some of his hidden roots in wrestling. And then I'm going to take this guy for a walk because he needs some exercise. He's been packing on the beef lately. It's disgusting. You disgust me, eel. Sort your life out. Check out the video that's on your screen right now. The algorithm thinks you're going to adore it. I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.